What's up, everybody? All right, so any of you guys that have been down to the shop, any of you guys that follow me on Instagram or YouTube, which isn't very many, have known that I've had this thing in my possession for quite some time. There's a huge backstory behind this car, but we won't get into that. It is a 1973 Datsun 240Z. It was basically a barn find. The gentleman that I'm working on it for wanted to do something a little bit different with this car. I wasn't sure what he wanted to do, but if you can see a little bit of the motor peak in there, you might be able to figure out what it is. We just now started working on this thing pretty hardcore in the last couple of weeks. It's got new floors. Still got to do a little finish welding, patch a few more holes. The rust went a little bit further than I had thought originally. We did new floors, so those came out pretty good. Still got a ton of parts in the car. And a few other little odds and ends. And the big part, what we were all looking forward to, myself, the owner, and pretty much everybody, was that. I don't know that I've ever seen one of these in a Datsun. This is a K24. Not sure what he got it out of. Might have been a TSX or a CRV or something of that nature, but basically it is a K24 that runs an adapter plate to an S2000 transmission. And this was the difficult part. Making some sort of mounting system that would clear the steering shaft on this side, and also something that would allow the motor to sit low enough. And I'll show you guys when I get on this side, but if you look down here, you can see this mount is extremely short. These motors have a pretty severe tilt from the factory, so we had to keep that tilt in line to keep the transmission in line. So making the mounts was quite interesting. Still have a little bit more bracing to do on this side, but for the most part it's done. However, what you can see though is how tall this motor actually is. If we come down here and we look, it literally sits about an inch and a half maybe below the hood line. So when the hood is on this thing, it will be an inch and a half, 2 inches from the hood. And luckily, with the mounts the way they are, we got everything to sit dead center and pretty much clear everything. Clears a cross member, clears a steering shaft, clears everything. How this thing fits in here, I don't know. We even have a decent amount of clearance in the back. Managed to clear the hood latch. Everything else is looking good. Now there's obviously going to be some modifications that are needed with this thing. This is not just a direct swap, obviously. So we need to do some sort of water pump. The factory water pump fits, but the thermostat housing will not go on with the water pump. It hits that mount. And unfortunately, I couldn't move the mount any further back because that steering shaft. That steering shaft is what made this mount look so funky in the first place, and the fact that we had to drop the motor down so low to clear the hood. But anywho, that is the update on this 240. It's going to be a very interesting car when it's done. I'm just happy for now we actually got the motor in it, and now I can finish up the floors, and it'll be on to the next phase of the build. Alrighty, thanks for looking. Alright guys, that was a little bit of an update on the 240. There's a ton more work that needs to be done with it, so I don't know. Hopefully we'll be able to get some more done in the next couple of days. We're hoping by this weekend to have the floors done, have the motor mounts completely done, and a few other odds and ends kind of tied up, and then it's going to move on to its next phase of everything else that's going on. But I'm wiped. You can tell it is not bright. My shop lights are super bright, but this is what we're looking at right now. Quite dark. It's about 1:30 in the morning. I'm wiped out. Super tired. So I'm going to close up shop and go home. I will have more updates for you guys as things progress. We got some more projects coming in the shop. We got a lot of welding coming in the shop. Things are actually busy, busy, busy. So for any of you guys that are trying to get appointments with me, I apologize. I'm super busy. It's taking forever for me to get projects in here, especially bigger projects. We're moving to a larger facility probably in the next month or two. Going to be getting things set up so that I have a very separate fabrication bay versus my service bay versus my performance bay. And we also have some really, really big things coming. A possible rename, a possible revamping, and yeah, some more social media stuff and some more YouTube stuff, and you name it. So stay tuned. Don't go anywhere. If you don't subscribe, or subscribe, or just scribe. Whatever you want to do. It's up to you. You have your finger on the little clicker button. So click it. And I appreciate it. Oh, click like too. And the little bell. Click the little bell. And then you'll know whenever I upload videos. So, good night, everybody. Hope you have a good day tomorrow. And I will see you soon.